It is 4 p.m. We're redeveloping news and the stories behind the headlines. This is Storycon, the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao. The stories today, Ombudsman Boying Remulla says Senator Bato de la Rosa was last spotted in Pampanga. In an interview, Remulla once again insisted that an International Criminal Court warrant, or ICC warrant, has been released against a lawmaker. But the Ombudsman did not elaborate. This is something that former presidential spokesman Harry Roque also confirms. In a Facebook post on Sunday, Roque says that an arrest warrant is already in force against De La Rosa. Roque told Senator Bato not to yield and instead insist on its right to be presented before a Philippine court. Roque is currently in Europe, refusing to return to the Philippines to face a qualified trafficking case against him. Meantime, De La Rosa's lawyer, attorney Israelito Torreon, told True FM that they have not received any warrant yet. Torreon also declined to disclose his client's whereabouts, saying he only gets updates from the former Duterte's. He gets updates from the former Duterte PNP chief's wife.
I could not confirm kung saan siya. Dahilan na nga po kasi wala kasing clear-cut guidelines. So kung ano ba talaga ang modality na i-follow ng ating gobyerno, extradition ba o surrender. So sa surrender kasi, baka gagawin na naman nila yung ginawa nila kay Tatay Digong na hindi man lang dumaan sa korte natin at diretso na i-surrender doon sa ICC. Natural lamang na si Senator Bato ay is making himself unavailable in the light of the fact na ayaw naman niya na diretso lang siyang kidnapin at dalahin doon sa Hague.
VP Sara Duterte is not looking forward to speaking again to her estranged running mate, President Bongbong Marcos. As to the possibility of so-called unity talks with the President, here is her reaction.
We're about to release a statement about the impeachment, no? So, lalabas namin yun. Meron lang akong mga edits and amendments doon. So,
hindi ko po maintindihan yung statement na yan kasi unang-una sa House level, tapos na po yung budget process. Di ko ba? Kasi nga, magbabaycam na nga. Nasa Senate na. And then during the House proceedings,
the VP is currently in The Hague visiting with her ICC-detained father, former President Duterte. While there, she says she is ready for another impeachment complaint that could be filed against her in February of 2026. Sara believes, and we quote, "This constitutional mechanism is being dangled once again as a bargaining chip right before the 2026 national budget is passed. Something some House lawmakers believe is a figment of the Vice President's imagination."
We're about to release a statement about the impeachment, no? So, lalabas namin yun. Meron lang akong mga edits and amendments doon. So,
hindi ko po maintindihan yung statement na yan kasi unang-una sa House level, tapos na po yung budget process. Di ko ba? Kasi nga, magbabaycam na nga. Nasa Senate na. And then during the House proceedings, wala naman mga usap-usapan pa or what. Wala naman akong naririnig noon na i-revive yung impeachment case against her.
Drawing pa lang yan, kumbaga, no? And yet, nagsasalita siya as though kasado na ito. Malinaw naman ang objective para i-discredit. At this point, ganito pa lang kaaga, gusto nang i-discredit ng Vice Presidente ang lehitimong complaint laban sa kanya. Panlilinlang, typical ng Duterte, no, sabi niya, handa naman siyang palaging sagutin ang anumang tanong kaugnay sa paggastos niya ng pondo. Pero pagka may aktual na venue at pagkakataon na, iiwas siya, di ba? O hindi sasagot.
And the other stories we're watching this Monday, December 8th, the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. The Philippine National Police, or the PNP, has deployed tracker teams to locate Sal Vizcaya and other suspects linked to a 96.5 million peso ghost flood control project in Davao Occidental. The PNP says teams are working to identify the locations of all the people named in the charge sheet and coordinating with other agencies to ensure enforcement of possible arrest warrants. President Marcos earlier directed authorities to prepare for the issuance of arrest warrants against Vizcaya, St. Timothy Construction's Maria Roma, Angeline Rimando, and DPWH Davao Occidental officials.
The so-called pork barrel queen Janet Lim Napoles has been sentenced once again to reclusion perpetua in another case over the anomalous use of PDAF, or the Priority Development Assistance Fund. The Sandigan Bayan found her and another person guilty of malversation, which carries a sentence of 20 to 40 years in prison. The court ruled that about 19 million pesos from the late Benguet Representative Samuel Dangwa's PDAF was diverted to a bogus Napoles-linked NGO with no projects delivered. And the Senate and the lower house will meet on Thursday, December 11 for bicameral proceedings. That's to reconcile their versions of the 6.7 trillion peso budget for 2026. Senate President Tito Soto described the Senate's version as a lean budget free of discretionary funds and promised that there will be no more insertions. Congress is also looking to live stream the BICAM for transparency. The upper chamber aims to pass its version of the budget tomorrow, December 9th.
And joining us today from the Philippine Star, Editor-in-Chief Ami Pamintuan.
Hi.
Hi, Ami.
Happy Monday, everybody.
Ano daw? Happy ano?
Happy Monday.
Ano ang pagbati mo? Happy Monday. Sige na.
Happy Monday.
Ang galit si Ami.
Sige, at least tumalapit na ang Biyernes. Okay.
Oh, Ed. Oh, Ed Lingao.
Di ba? Wala si Ronald Llamas today. He's supposed to be, by his own claim, he's briefing ambassadors
on the situation, I guess, in the Philippines, which everyone is trying to figure out what's going on.
Controversial siya ngayon. Ano?
Sorry, biglang may nagapir
Biglang may pumasok.
Biglang may nagapir na.
Sorry about that.
Okay, because we have somebody who is also joining us this afternoon. Naway hindi siya makatulog habang kausap natin siya.
Inaayos po yung upuan niya. Nagtataka sila kung bakit nakapokus.
Ami, hulaan mo kung sino yung ating
hindi.
Surprise witness ba to?
Oy, good afternoon, Ami.
Okay.
Parang biglaan naman.
Bigyan ng kapit to, baka makatulog to.
Hindi, hinakakang ako ni Ed eh.
Baka maburo yan dyan.
Wala kasi si Ronald.
We gave away the naman kaagad. Dapat may maghuhula pa si Ami eh.
Maghuhula eh.
Surprise witness, parang Orly Guteza.
Yun.
Pati yung paglanding ng upuan, hindi surprise eh.
Pinasok eh.
Pinasok eh.
Sabagay.
Di ba? Oo. Teka, anong headline ninyo, Ami? What are your stories today?
Apart from yung mga binasa mo na, sabi ni Ombudsman Remulla, hinahanda na yung malversation case against former Senator Bong Revilla, no?
Mm-hmm.
So sigurado na tayo na isa sa mga most likely na makukulong before Christmas.
As recommended by the ICI.
Pray for me raw eh.
Hmm?
Pray for me. Sabi ni ex-Senator Revilla.
Ikaw, prayerful ka naman, di ba?
I will pray for him.
Yun daw yung low-hanging fruit ang description ni
according to that interview that he gave Karen, no? Ano yung pray mo sa kanya?
To stay longer.
Where?
In jail.
Uy, grabe.
Sorry.
Uy, grabe talaga. Ano ka ba?
Immaculate conception
Nothing's
yun,
been proven. Ikaw talaga.
Kasi
daling buyuin eh.
Recidivist. Di ba? Recidivist.
Recidivist, correct.
Recidivist.
Prumin na ka muna dyan. Huwag ka na magkape ha. Tubig ka na lang ngayon.
Yung mga kasama sa PDAP na na-convict na naman, patong-patong na yung lifetime, saka 20 years ni Napoles.
Ikaw yung nagsabi that for Sen Joel, this is strike 3 or was it for Sen Jinggoy? Sen Jinggoy, ito strike 3. Kay Senator
strike 3
former
depends on what you mean. Kasi in 2001, he was jailed for a brief period dahil dun sa kaso ng tatay niya. Siya kasi daw tumatanggap ng pera.
Gambling yun. Gambling pa yun.
Tapos yung second was PDAF. Second was PDAF.
Ito yung
third.
So, in a way, it is strictly in the sense na nadadawit ang pangalan niya. Pero kung whether napapatunayan na with certainty yung mga kaso, wala pa doon.
Pero baka hindi, kasi hindi plunder ngayon yung ipa-file eh.
Yeah.
Na-convict si Napoles ngayon, malversation ha.
So, mas mababa yung threshold. I think that's what you're saying.
Imbis na plunder, usually yung plunder, di ba, nagkaka-dismiss.
Pero reclusion perpetua rin yun, yung malversation.
Yeah, it's non-bailable and it's a life term.
Yan naman kasi non-bailable ninyo eh.
Saka mababa yung threshold niya, 8.8 lang. Yung plunder is 50 million eh.
Hindi, pero meron na kaso ng plunder, pero nakakapag-bail eh.
Oo. Hindi naman, ultimately, hindi naman yung amount yung problem sa plunder law. It's because they changed the Supreme Court changed the jurisprudence such that it's almost impossible to convict anyone of plunder. It's because napakataas ng threshold. You have to, number one, identify a mastermind for plunder, and number two, convince the judge and the jury that this mastermind benefited directly from the money, from the stolen money. So, how do you draw that direct link, right? Yun yung mahirap sa plunder. Hindi so much the figure, the amount,
I think
the threshold.
The only person who was convicted ng plunder si Joseph Estrada.
Na-pardon.
Pardon.
Nakapagpuli. At
And full political rights restored.
Muntik manalo ng presidente.
Yes, muntik pa manalo ng
Number 2
presidente.
siya.
Muntik pang manalo.
Some interesting things that happened over the weekend, if I recall correctly. Number one, si Jose Claire Castro says na hindi interesado Malacanang to
Hindi ba yun nga sinabi ko kay na parang lukewarm, sabi ko kay Ping Lacson. Sabi ko mukhang lukewarm na Malacanang dyan sa simula nung umupo lang naman si Boying Remulla. Kasi mukhang yun yung usap-usapan doon within that circle na magiging redundant yung ombudsman and DOJ. Dadagdag pa kayo ng pera, dadagdag pa kayo ng bureaucracy. Ang ginagawa lang naman from there, ibabato sa amin. Diba? Yun ang takbo niyang argumento.
Let's complete the thought, Ami, baka naliligaw yung mga tao. We're talking about yung proposal to give additional powers to the ICI. Ito yung powers to cite in contempt. And
but even then, hindi pa rin sila yung magpa-file. Itatapon pa rin nila sa ombudsman or DOJ.
Sayang na yung pagod, tsaka pera at oras. No?
Madadagdagan ka lang ng isang layer nga.
And number two, si Ombudsman Remulla was quoted as saying na possibly by February, hindi na kailangan yung ICI.
At 1 or 2 months
Huwagin.
That it was always meant to be a fact-finding body.
Tsaka
which
maraming hindi umattend. Di ba?
Kasi hindi na nila masabina masabina yung document, hindi masabina yung documents, they can't cite in contempt.
Medyo hindi nakakuha ng public sentiment yung ICI dahil nga dun sa pagla-live stream na hindi natuloy. Naon siya. Nag-live stream pero yung mga big fish hindi naman natin nakita, di ba?
That's the other thing And, may live streaming na pero medyo liberal pa so far yung application ng executive sessions.
Actually, yun ang hinihintay from the ICI, di ba? Yun ang hinihintay natin They will take over from the Senate. Pakita niyo sa amin yung mga big fish, kini-interrogate, kini-question nyo, di ba? Lahat naging na executive session, sabi ko, di ba? That's the president already, hindi na yan Lahat yan, pinagbigyan mo na yung isa Lahat yan, manghihingi na yung executive session.
Tsaka maraming iniimbestigahan na involved, no? Like si Adrian Bersamin na nadawit na ni Yusek Bernardo.
Okay, we have a guest. Let's bring him in.
We are talking for our first guest today, we're talking to once again the Boto's representative, Congressman Toby Tiangco. Good afternoon, Congressman. Welcome back to StoryCon.
Yes, good afternoon. Who's Ms. Regina?
Hi.
Yes, sir.
Congressman.
I'm with Amy, Ed, and Manny. Manny is sitting in for Ronald.
Hi.
Good afternoon, sir.
Sir, I'm sure you've heard over the weekend, si Jose Claire Castro was quoted as saying na mukhang hindi na ganun ka-interesadong Malacanang to empower the ICI with What's that? Una, yung to cite in contempt those who refuse to attend and refuse to testify. And number two,
subpoena powers.
Subpoena powers. And number two, the proposal to grant them immunity from prosecution in the future after the ICI does its job. Your thoughts po? I understand that, you're among several legislators who proposed powers for the ICI.
Yes, we will have to clarify, no, kung ano yung pinanggagalingan ng kanilang statement na yon. Kasi I think, if I remember correctly, imbitado naman yung mga nasa part ng gobyerno na. I think DOJ was represented, the Office of the Ombudsman was represented nung nag-committee hearing yan, and there was no objection during that time, no? So, holiday kasi ngayon, so you'll have to clarify bakit ganun yung, is that the official stand of the whole, government na hindi kailangan yun? Kasi nakita naman natin, di ba, noong sinagpi na si Saldico, binaliwala lang, hindi man lang pinagot kung bakit di siya makapunta. So I think valid naman yung to cite them in contempt. Kasi kung wala I mean, hindi pupunta doon yung iba, di ba? Tapos I saw the interview of Secretary Babe Singson last Friday. In fact, he was requesting both houses of Congress na madaliin, di ba? So medyo surprised ako doon sa press con ni Claire. Kanina ba yun?
Yes, sir. Pero sir, yung sinasabi ni Claire, that's not the first time kasi we interviewed her as well nung November 30 rallies. That same Sunday, we asked her about that. Is Malacanang going to certify as urgent yung bill niya that everybody seems to be looking forward to? Sabi niya, 2 points. Number one, baka mag-overlap yan. So they need to study it out further. Baka mag-overlap yung functions with existing agencies. And number two, ang sabi niya, for example, the PNP and the NBI, they are able to investigate without the power to subpoena and cite in contempt people. So I'm sure that the ICI can do the same thing. So in other words, it's not the first time that she said it. She's been saying it repeatedly.
Hindi, PNP at NBI, iba naman yung investigasyon nun. Hindi naman humaharap yung mga tao yata dun eh. Ngayon, ano yung una sinabi mo, Ed?
Ano sir? Overlap. Baka na mag-overlap ang functions ng ICI with the other agencies that will be conducting the investigation and prosecution.
Hindi, kaya nga, doon sa part ng DOJ tsaka ng Ombudsman, kaya nga ang gagawin na lang doon is they will just recommend para hindi magkaroon ng constitutional violation, no? Because I think the Ombudsman has the sole authority to file against government officials, no? So parang tutulong na lang siya sa investigasyon ng Ombudsman. Yun yung idea doon, no? Anyway, I think the best thing for us to do in Congress is to hear their side again. Kasi may committee, na kami nun based doon sa November 13 hearing namin. Natatandaan ko, Webes yun, nag-marathon hearing nga kami nun Nagsimula kami, launa, tinapos namin, alas 6 para lang matapos kaagad. And nagkaroon ng substitute bill na yan So, tignan natin, siguro papatawag na lang ng committee chairman ulit yung mga government agencies to hear their side. I don't know kung anong balak ng committee chairman namin.
Congressman, ano po ang sentiments ng Kongreso sa pagpasa ng isang bagong batas para may ngipin naman itong ICI?
Ang understanding ko nga po, noong minarathon hearing namin yan. Kasi ang nangyari niyan, Monday nag-resume kami, di ba? Parang November 10, nag-resume kami. And then, nagkaroon ng technical working group yata on Tuesday or Wednesday. And then Thursday, committee meeting ulit para nga ginawa namin yung substitute bill. Mm-hmm. So, parang ang understanding ko noon, priority siya. So, pinakamabuti, mapakinggan ulit namin yung side naman ng mga agencies para malaman kung nagbago ba.
So, ang status po buhay pa ho?
Yes, as of last week. Ang status niyan as of last week is that iniintay na lang yung Committee on Appropriations. Kasi di ba may appropriations needed yan eh. So, in the previous Congresses, ang ginagawa na kasi, pag gumagawa ng bill at kailangan ng appropriations, dinadaan muna sa Committee on Appropriations yan because nung matagal na panahon ang nangyayari, for example, may bill na magtayo ng ospital. Hindi dumaan sa Committee on Appropriations. May bill nga magtayo ng ospital, hindi naman maitayo dahil walang pondo. So ngayon, ang ginawa, lahat ng kailangan ng appropriations, dinadaan muna sa Committee on Appropriations. So yun na lang dapat iniintay namin eh. Yun na lang dapat ang iniintay nun eh.
Congressman,
kasi tapos na siya doon sa Committee on Revision of Laws.
Kong Toby, there's another question in here about why President Marcos doesn't just certify it as urgent, which as you well know, will shorten the timeline for it. Nakausap na namin si and send the signal, very clear signal that he means business, right? Si Congressman Erice and Congressman De Lima, among others, have told us, yes, you can pass it even without the president certifying it as urgent, but if you want it done this month, then he needs to do it, right? So you could bypass some of the congressional processes. So again, the question is, why doesn't he just certify it as urgent? And now I'm asking you, not as a congressman, but as someone who is close to the president.
Oh, yan na naman tayo. Ako na naman naging close sa presidente. Hindi, ganito. Regina.
Okay, go.
Regina, okay. Yung yung constitutional provision of certifying something urgent is due to an emergency. That's not a blanket authority. Kahit basahin niyo yung Constitution, the certification of urgency is to address a calamity. It's not a blanket authority na pwede mong i-certify lahat ng bill urgent, no? May coletilla yan. It should be to address an emergency. Di ba? Kaya nga kune-question minsan yung pag-certify ng budget urgent, di ba? Because hindi naman sa basta-basta lahat pwede mo i-certify na urgent, okay? Okay. Ngayon, kahit hindi naman siya i-certify urgent, Regina, kung meron pa kaming 5 session days, no? Bibigyan kita ng timetable. Kung mag-meeting lang
hindi na daw aabot
Hindi, aabot yan. Tignan mo, ha? Bibigay ko sa'yo, ha? Ang reason lang bakit sina-certify urgent is para maiwasan yung 3-day rule between the second reading and the third reading. Yun lang naman yung reason kung bakit siya sina-certify urgent eh. Para kung certified urgent siya, pwede ka mag-second reading and third reading on the same day. Pero bigyan kita ng bilang ng araw, no? So, tomorrow, November 9, kung yung appropriations mag-meet, then November 9 yan.
December 9, sir.
Pag in-approve nila ng November 9, November 10, pwedeng mag-committee, December. Sorry, December 10, Wednesday, pwedeng committee report and second reading sa plenary. O sa next Monday, pwede na yan i-third reading. O di Monday, third reading, that's, ano ba yung Monday? 15. O, 16, magbabaikam kami. Kasi iba yung version ng Senate. 17, i-ratify yung BICAM. So may enough time. Basta mag-meeting yung appropriations bukas. At hindi kailangan ng urgency.
Pero sir, di ba, a lot of it has to do with the signaling or the lack of signaling, whether it has to do with the certification as urgent or simply a statement from Malacanang that yes, we want this passed ASAP, with or without the certification. Doesn't that show or not show how much interest the palace has in granting these powers to the ICI?
Yes, I think that's the proper term. It's not certifying it urgent, but knowing from the palace kung ano ba talaga, what direction will we take, no? I think that's the most important thing because baka the other members of Congress would wait for that before acting. Yeah, I think it's that. It's not the certification of urgency. It's the signal kung ano ba talaga.
Okay, sir. Now that we've identified that, what do you think of it? Obviously, the signals coming from Malacanang is parang we're not that particularly convinced that this has to be done or these powers have to be given, and so on down the line. So,
and you know what? Public perception on it mirrors that because at the start, I'm not sure if you saw the WR numerous surveys. At the start of this whole expose, tumaas yung approval ratings ni President Marcos, but then over time, over the next several months, people perceived it as losing steam. So that's when he started taking hits to his approval ratings, directly linked to the flood control scandal.
Yes, I totally agree, no? I totally agree. In fact, what I have been saying would happen if they don't act has already happened, di ba? I think in some interviews I've said that if they don't act, the ratings will further go down, or if the people find it too slow, the ratings will further go down. And that's what happened, di ba?
Well, ito sir, kung hindi nila, kahit hindi certification kung hindi nila bibigyan ng endorsement o push yung granting of more powers to the ICI, what do you think, how do you think the people will see this?
It won't look, I mean kasi di ba, si Secretary Dave Singson gave an interview. Sabi niya, he requested both houses of Congress to pass it, di ba? And despite the fact of Sec Dave Singson saying na yan yung totoong reason kung bakit ako nag-resign dahil health issues, kung ano-ano yung speculation ng tao, di ba? Kung ano-ano iniisip nila. So it might just further fuel the speculations.
Ang masamang speculation, kung sabihin, moro-moro lang pala yung ICI.
I mean, di ba kasi kung ano-ano speculation ng tao, bakit nag-resign si Seth Bates despite him saying na it's really because of health. Tapos, in his interview last Thursday, he requested both houses of Congress na ipasa kaagad. Tapos, kung iba yung senyales ng Malacanang through Secretary Claire, it will just show na magkaiba sila ng stand doon sa pagsasabatas ng ICI, di ba? Then people will further speculate some other things.
What's
yan
the
ang
other
problema
thing,
dyan. No, they will speculate na hindi talaga nagkakasundo kaya nag-resign si Sec Bates, di ba?
Sorry. Tsaka kung walang pondo, nabinigay yung DBM.
Well, na-download na daw. Just
Friday.
This month. Yeah.
No, Friday lang daw. Binaba yung notice of cash allowance ng DBM even though the announcement was made in September. Pero this Friday lang ata nilabas yung NCA, notice of cash allowance. Meaning na pwede nang i-withdraw sa bangko.
Inutang muna.
hindi kasi klaro. I mean, kung hindi namin ipasa yung batas, kung hindi ba pasa yung batas, what happens to the present ICI? Yun ang hindi ko masyadong klaro
Ami, we lost you for a second there. Do you have any questions?
Inubulang ako. Sabi ni Ombudsman Boying Remulla, congressman mga 1 or 2 months na lang daw yung buhay niyang ICI actually kasi nagiging redundant daw yung trabaho with the Ombudsman and the DOJ. So mukhang yun ang it actually jives with what Claire Castro said, Kasi unang-una yung budget inabot ng 1 buwan bago din-download from the announcement yung 41 million. 3 weeks na lang yun na magagamitin nila, pambayad na lang yun ng mga utang nila. So, kung talagang gusto, bibigyan niya ng resources, hindi ba?
Yeah. But may not to defend DBM, talagang medyo naman hindi ganun kapilit mag-release ng pondo sa DBM. Hindi naman. May mga may paperwork na required yun
Pero anong tingin niya yung sinabi ni Ombudsman Remulla na na mukhang pwede namang alisin na lang yung ICI in 1 or 2 months wind up na.
Okay. Ako naman ang ko lang dito dapat maliwanag kung ano talaga yung mensahe, 'di ba? Hindi natin dapat iwanan sa spekulasyon ng tao kung ano yung mangyayari, kung ano yung dahilan. Siguro ang pinakamabuti liwanagin na lang kung ano talaga yung dapat gawin, kung ano yung mangyayari, para wala na spekulasyon yung tao.
Pero wala namang opposition kaya, wala kayang strong opposition from the House. Kung sakasakaling yun nga ang gawin na i-wind up na lang yung trabaho dahil wala namang ganyang mga powers, nagkakadoble-doble lang, at nagagastusan lang. I mean yun yung takbo ng no explanation. Wala namang strong opposition kaya from congressmen?
Walang strong opposition from congressman kung hindi ipapasa o walang strong opposition from Congress to pass it? What do you mean?
Kung aalisin na lang yung ICI, kung sakasakali. Kung yun ang magiging policy ng Malacanang, alisin na lang natin yan. Total, nandyan na si Boying Remulla sa ombudsman. Kabayaan na natin sila sa DOJ.
Yung present ICI, yung present ICI, wala naman magagawa yung Congress doon because it's an executive prerogative, di ba?
Hindi, ibig ko sabihin, siyempre magpuprotesta din gayon. May nakikita ba kayo dyan? Kung sakasakali lang, may magpuprotesta kayang malakas sa Congress. Kung sakasakali lang na i-abolish na lang nga. I-phase out.
Alam mo, Ami, ang worry ko dyan is yung optics di ba? Isipin mo, last week, madaming mga congressmen nagpunta doon voluntarily, di ba?
Tapos, naman, close door. Ang iniintay ng mga tao, humarap sa live stream.
Ang ibig ko sabihin, after pumunta doon mga congressmen doon voluntarily, saka i-abolish yung ICI. So, baka hindi maganda yung isipin ng tao, di ba?
Pero pwede naman sila ipatawag ng ombudsman May power, in fact, ang ombudsman to compel anybody to appear before the agency.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but my point, my ano lang is, liwanagin na lang kung ano talaga, di ba? Kasi kami sa Congress, may eksakto lang yung 5 araw So kung gusto mong ipasa yan before December, dapat maliwanag bukas para gumalaw na yung Committee on Appropriations bukas. Kung hindi kasi kung hindi mag-meeting yung Committee on Appropriations bukas, hindi talaga siya mapapasa before December, before the break.
Okay.
So ang importante lang sa amin, maliwanag, no? Pero madami talagang magreklamo dyan sa Congress kung hindi ipapasa yung ICI bill. And I think doon sa Senate, mas nauna pa nga sila, nag-second reading na yata doon
Yeah, correct. Okay, there's lots more to take this conversation to, but we have to leave it there because we're running out of time. But thank you so much for talking to us today, Navotas Representative Congressman Toby Tiangco.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
You're watching Storycon on One News. We just need to take a very quick break. We'll be right back, not black. Please stay with us.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.
You've got developing news in the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to the Story Conference or StoryCon. I'm Ed Lingao.
And I'm Regina Lay. Stay with us. I'm Pamituan of the Philippine Star and Manny Mogoto, who's the One News Defense Editor.
And also join us this afternoon, Attorney Israelito Torion, Legal Counsel of Senator Bato de la Rosa. Sir, Attorney, magandang hapon po and thank you for joining us.
Hello, magandang hapon po, Sir Ed. And sa mga kasama po ninyo dyan.
Magandang hapon, Attorney.
Sir, I understand you're preparing a pleading when we caught you we caught you just in the middle of preparing a pleading. Would you be free to tell us what the pleading is about? Is it in reference to Bato de la Rosa or the former president?
Related din dyan. Hindi ko lang muna masabi, sir. Basta related din dyan. Opo.
Parang Attorney, parang sinabi niyo na sa amin sa The Big Story a week or so ago eh. Diba tinanong din kita and you said you were gonna file a prayer, a petition Ito ba yun?
I already did
you did?
file a supplemental petition for issuance of TRO. I already filed a motion for reconsideration from the denial of the urgent motion to compel Ombudsman Remulla to produce the alleged ICC warrant. And here we are again now. There is another news that indeed the ICC warrant of arrest is really present. And of course, as a lawyer, I have to prepare for that eventuality if ever it will finally be
but
presented.
I know you're also close to Attorney Harry Roque, so na-confirm nyo na ba sa kanya that it's true and who his source is?
Ang kanyang source is kanyang kaibigan daw based on the text message that I received from him, hindi pa ako nakatawag sa kanya. So parang second information lang din. So tanong din ako. Ang confirmation din meron pero hindi ako mabigyan ng kopya. So bottom line, marites pa rin lahat.
Yeah, but you're hearing it now from two different sources.
Attorney kasi, kaya hindi siya mailabas kasi both ICC and the Interpol, ang policy nila ngayon, hindi nila ginagawang public yung mga warrant of arrest nila
Yes, that's
ICC, hindi
true.
ba?
Yes.
Idadaan siya sa Interpol, pero pareho sila ngayon hindi naglalabas para nga daw hindi makatakbo yung subject of the warrant.
Yes, under Article 87, Paragraph 3 of the Rome Statute, these matters are supposedly confidential, which brings me to another matter. Why would the Ombudsman keep on informing us this, which, our healthy mind would continue to guess that there may be something here. Maybe this is something that needs to be done in order to divert the attention of the public from the ongoing flood control controversy, or perhaps to force Senator Bato to, not make himself available, so that if there is another impeachment complaint against Sara Duterte, the necessary number in order to prevent the conviction of Sara Duterte would not anymore be reached. Of course, that's speculation, which we are entitled to do since he is likewise subjecting us to speculation vis-a-vis the alleged presence of the ICC warrant.
Pero Attorney, do you have contact with the Senator?
No, as of the moment, no. But I had a long conversation last weekend with the beloved wife of the Senator. As a matter of fact, binigyan niya ako ng napakagandang mga mementos na galing kay Senator Bato. Yung binibigay niya sa kanyang mga close friends and family members.
So do I take it to mean that at this point you still don't know where Senator De La Rosa is?
Affirmative, ma'am. Affirmative. And I don't want to know also. I'm not asking so that I will not be able to lie to you if you will ask me.
I also have to ask you din
Pero sabi ni
kasi yung alam ko kung tanungin mo ako, hindi ako magsisinungaling po.
That's a good way of going about it, sir. Pero sabi nga sa ni Remulla, nasa Pampanga daw, ang last info niya. Of course, we don't know where he got this information.
Alam mo naman si Ombudsman Remulla, lahat ng information nandyan sa kanya. Pero kung tatanungin mo, ayaw ibigay. Baka ginawa naman yun para mabulabog si Senator Bato at mag-move kaagad at ma-monitor na nila. Ang tawag namin yan, bluff.
But sir, we assume that sabi nga niya, you had a long conversation with the wife of Senator Bato. We assume that they're in touch. Any word from Senator Bato how he is? What's he been doing? I know it's third hand, but it's coming from the wife.
Oh, how is he surviving?
Ang galing mo talaga magtanong, sir. That is under the assumption that they are in touch with each other.
Yes, sir.
But I did not ask that, so I cannot anymore give you any further answer on the matter.
Pero anong legal recourse niyo dyan? Kung ganyan
ang legal recourse namin kasi dyan, ma'am, ganito po. Under Article 88 of the Rome Statute po, the state parties are supposedly required to provide the necessary procedures insofar as cooperation modalities are concerned. Nandun yan sa Article 88 po ng Rome Statute. Sa pagkakaalam ko, availability of procedures under national law. Because that is so, because under Article 89, if you have to effect surrender, that should be in pursuance on the procedure under their national law. Their, meaning the accused subject of the warrant of arrest. So, if we were really intent in having this operationalized, then it would have been incumbent on the part of the Marcos administration to provide for the procedures for surrender. Yun nga ang palagi kong sinasabi. Wala tayong legal framework on how to effectuate surrender. Bakit mo i-insist yung surrender? Wala nga tayong necessary procedure which was supposedly required from us when we were a member prior to March 17 of 2019. Wala Ang gusto ba nilang sabihin, dakpin lang kaagad si Senator Bato at ipadala doon sa Hague? Bawal naman yun. Kidnapping yun. Anong nangyayari sa ating konstitusyon? GCO na to. We will tear it apart. Our national laws will tear it apart just because there is this foreign warrant of arrest of which we are no longer a party of.
Attorney, di ba may president na?
Attorney, ang ini-invoke nila hindi ICC dahil nga wala na tayo. Ang ini-invoke nila yung commitment natin to the Interpol.
Interpol. But Interpol only acts based on the information being given by the ICC. Hindi na tayo magpalusot-lusot dito. Lahat yan galing sa lahat yan galing sa sa ICC yung processes. So therefore, that is still governed under the Rome Statute. If the source of the authority comes from the ICC, so even if granting for the sake of argument that is Interpol, we do not have the necessary mechanisms for surrender pursuant to processes from the Interpol. If you could cite one, please educate me. I have not found any. What I've learned is under Article 59 of the Rome Statute in relation with Article 89, the procedure on surrender should be pursuant to the national law. If you would read ICCPR, International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, Article 8 and 9 would also mandate respect for national law, and even Article 8 on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights likewise mandates that any arrest to be made has to follow the procedures of the national law. Under our Bill of Rights, the mandate on due process likewise have to be complied with, and no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Hindi po pwede kidnapin lang kaagad si Senator Bato kagaya ni Tatay Digong at ipadala mo sa The Hague without passing through our courts. Kasi nga po, Pilipino naman tayo, hindi naman tayo govern na ng mga banyaga.
Attorney, earlier you were saying...
Yung framing ni Attorney, I know you're trying to frame it as a kidnapping, but of course, itong provisions na to were in effect for as long as we were part of the Rome Statute. They cover crimes that were committed when we were still part of that, and therefore, yung sinasabi niyo, sir, na the surrender has no legal mechanism, well, isn't that what we agreed to already in terms of when we were back, when we are still a member of the ICC? Sorry, Ed, go ahead, Ed, with your question. Alam ko it's along the same lines.
From 2011 to 2019, we're still members.
I have to explain our side on the matter. We were a member of the Rome Statute up to March 17 of 2019. Prior to that, we were. I have to concede that we were under its operations, and under Article 88, supposedly, of the Rome Statute, we were mandated to provide our own procedures for any forms of cooperation vis-a-vis the processes of the International Criminal Court. But until now kasi po, wala tayong legal framework, wala tayong implementing rules insofar as how to effectuate what you call the surrender. If you will read Section 17 of Republic 9518, no, dalawang modalities lang yon: extradition treaties or extradition or laws, no? Extradition laws or treaty. Yung extradition laws, sinasabi nila hindi daw mag-apply yung PD 1096 kasi nga hindi state yung ICC. Binabalik-balik ko yan. Yung extradition rules naman ng Supreme Court, hindi rin mag-apply kasi under Rule 1 Section 3M, hindi rin requesting state ang ICC. Hindi ako nag-agree niyan, but granting for the sake of argument na applicable yan, under on treaty, wala naman tayong treaty on surrender with ICC or even with the International Criminal Court or Interpol. Wala tayong procedure paano natin i-surrender siya. Diretso ba natin siyang dakpin? Hindi na tayo dadaan sa ating mga korte ay hindi po pwede yun kasi operational naman po ang ating rules on criminal procedure. Yung ating 1987 Constitution ay nandyan naman po. At saka yung residual jurisdiction under Article 127 is still under consideration. Kaya nga po, meron pa tayong petisyon doon sa Supreme Court. No?
Yes, sir.
Kasi ang amin pong sinasabi dyan, yung matter under consideration in order for the ICC to have supposedly a residual jurisdiction here na pwede pa silang assert na kailang jurisdiction, supposedly, nung March 17, 2019, nandun na sa pre-trial chamber yung investigation process. Wala na nag-move sila 2021 na, March. 2 years thereafter. So, wala nang, kung may kaso against kay Senator Bato, dapat dito na sa Pilipinas. Hindi na doon sa Netherlands.
Sir, we understand your position, sir. But at the same time, sir, Pebrero pa po, Marso pa po, ginamit yung patakaran na yan against the former president. And until now, the Supreme Court has not stricken down that move. It's been 8 months. If it is a lack of
that is
legal
not an
framework
excuse to disregard our laws on the matter. Kung ikaw ba naman may warrant sa ICC, diretsuhin ka lang dakpin na hindi dadaan ng korte, di tama yun.
Baka yun ang rule. Di ba? Yung ginawa ng Marso, yun ang rule.
Hindi check muna sa korte kung tama ba ito, in accordance ba ito doon sa ating mga batas din. Kasi masking sa Rome Statute under Article 89, the procedure on surrender must be in accordance with the procedure under the national law. Wala tayong national law. Bakit natin sisisihin si Senator Bato kung mag-request siya? Klaruhin ninyo yung ating rules. Kasi wala yan sa ating rules. Hindi pwede dakpin nyo lang kaagad ako at ihatid doon sa Netherlands. Pilipino ako. Hindi naman ako
Pero attorney,
Dutch.
when President Duterte was transferred to the ICC, I think that was already the rule. And there is a president already.
That was a wrong precedent, sir. I do hope that warrant will not be issued against you and you will just be arrested right away and brought to the Netherlands. I'm sure your lawyer will be raising hell also. That is why we filed a case with the Supreme Court, and that matter is before the Supreme Court, and perhaps it is the better part of prudence to await the ruling of the Supreme Court before we will act on the matter. Kasi nga po, hindi naman po pwede na we will tear apart our constitution, our rules on criminal procedure just because of this alleged ICC warrant.
We understand, sir. Although on the other hand, sir, it just is curious to us na something as of extreme urgency as this. Of course, the former president who was taken away nung pang March has taken 8 months and there has not been any decision or move by the Supreme Court to strike it down or to issue any statement about it. So parang
you have a point, but I respect the Supreme Court. I am an officer of the court. The Supreme Court is deluged with innumerable cases of equal importance. So I could not fault the Supreme Court, but I'm praying and hoping on bended knees that finally they will act on the matter.
Sir, Papalan, sir, sabi nyo kanina, you have to prepare for that eventuality, yung kung sakaling ang totoo yung arrest warrant. Ano po yung prepare niyo? Sorry, I'm going back to that.
Sir, practicing lawyer po ako, sir. I do not telegraph my moves po. Basta meron po.
Anyway.
Kung kinakailangan po, isasabi ko, sir. Ngayon, hindi matatalino yung mga natin, sir. Mamamahalin yung mga abogado na nasa likod dito. Kung i-announce ko pa, wala na ako. Taga-bukid lamang po ako, sir. So,
pero paano po?
We talked about this na rin before, attorney. Let's assume surrender nga yung modality, no? Kasi wala naman talaga extradition. So what's your game plan if that is the case?
Well, the game plan has been set already. The part of the strategy, whatever, if we may call that a strategy, has already been set. But there are other moves that we may take if finally the warrant of arrest would be shown to us, or if they have no other recourse except to show it to us, then we will act accordingly. No? As to how we will act, I could not state to you as of the moment yet.
So, in the meantime, escape and evasion muna.
Hindi naman escape and evasion. Observation lang po. So that the government also would be forced to act. Ito lang kasi ang gobyerno na ito, no, na masyadong atat isurrender yung ating mga citizens to a foreign court, no. This has not happened in any jurisdiction yet, na yung gobyerno pa ang mag-cooperate na para masurrender yung ating citizen. This is a unique occurrence, no? And that is why our reaction should likewise be studied and hopefully effective. Kasi we are up against the government of the Republic of the Philippines.
Ami, any questions from you, Ami?
Attorney, no chance na makita uli namin si Senator Bato sa Senate within the siguro next few weeks?
Well, that is a question that is properly answered by the good senator, no? We never know. I hope and pray that all of these issues would be resolved soon by the Supreme Court or any other courts for that matter, so that sana naman klaro na po kung ano po ang magiging legal remedies namin. Ngayon kasi hindi talaga klaro kasi medyo sabog talaga ang messages din ng ating gobyerno on the matter. I hope you understand.
Attorney, pahabol lang. I don't know how this works eh. Kung sakaling may arrest warrant at kung sakaling si Senator Bato is taken into custody and brought to The Hague, how does that work if an impeachment trial commences in the Senate? Does he get to cast his vote pa rin? I know it's way ahead, but I'm wondering lang how that works as far as his vote is concerned.
Well, the other party would say surely that he could not, but in the light of the technological advancements that we have now, where video call and like this, calls via Zoom are allowed and can be done, I hope and pray that that would remain as an option. And I have to study the Senate rules on the matter, and I'm sure the Senate is likewise receptive of modern technological advancements. And I do hope and pray that if such happens, Senator Bato would still be allowed to participate in any impeachment proceedings against the Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines.
Okay.
Sir, maraming salamat. Thank you very much,
Attorney Torion. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Legal counsel po ni Senator Bato de Rosa. Sir, kung sakaling mag-file na po kayo ng pleading.
Thank you, Attorney.
Mag-file na siya ng pleading.
Salamat po. Basta si Sir Ed. Okay, ayos.
He's about to file his pleading.
Thank you po.
So we'll call you back when that happens. Okay.
Okay.
I think I have to wrap up. Thank you for joining StoryCon today. Ami Pamindon, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star. And I hope your cough gets better. Parang you're developing something there. And Manny Bogoto, Defense Editor for One News. Join us again tomorrow, 4 p.m. for StoryCon. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Ed Lingao. Kapatid, we are One News, all sides, all the time.
This is the Story Conference Group or the StoryCon Group.